Good evening, everyone. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Here. Councilwoman Marcotte? Here. Councilman Dooley?
Here.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Here.
Supervisor Calavita?
Here. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to skip over the opportunity to address the board for specific agenda items to get to the appointments, which we always try to do first because people are here and they don't want to necessarily sit the rest of our boring agenda. Anyway, the first matter on our agenda is the designation of a police detective, and I am requesting the assignment of Police Officer Charles Mineo to the Detective Bureau. The assignment will be effective on November 24th, 2023. The annual salary is $134,545. Holiday pay is $6,784, and longevity of $1,600. And funds have been provided for in our 2023 budget. At this point, I'd like to introduce the Chief to say a few words about the process and our candidate.
Good evening, everybody. Supervisor Calavita, members of the town board. I'm very excited to be here to have Charlie promoted to the rank of detective. He's a 10-year veteran of the department. During this time, he's been a member of our ERU team, a youth officer, a school resource officer, a defensive tactics instructor, and an FTO. But I think personally, Charlie's greatest accomplishment within all those things is being a mentor. Charlie's a great FTO. He was a great instructor. I believe that the younger officers look up to him. He's the recipient of numerous departmental awards. He's been working as our juvenile officer for about 6 months, and he really came in and he took the reins. He does what he needs to do without constantly having me asked or questioned, and he always comes and he looks for advice or help if he needs it. And he really showed just great leadership and great desire in his new position. So I'm excited for him today. I wish him the best of luck. He's filling some big shoes with the retirement of Detective Santamoro, and I think he did a great job so far.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you also for your support for this candidate, and it's all, obviously, we very much value your opinion. And to Charles, the superintendent of the Tuckahoe School said, don't take him away from me, but I think for this extra bump in pay, it's worth the move, she'll get over it, But I also, glad to see your whole family's here. It's wonderful. That's part of what the job is about, is having the support of your family here. And I don't think the board will take offense that you brought your newborn daughter to influence the board, to make the plea, But God bless you. We know you're going to do a great job. And at this point, I'll make the motion for your approval, and I'll ask for a second, please.
Second.
I think they have unanimous second.
Yeah.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye, congratulations.
First and foremost, I want to express how honored I am to be up here tonight. So thank you, Supervisor Calavita, members of the town board, Chief Rodriguez. I'm up here primarily because of my fantastic support system. I'm very lucky to have and blessed to have a fantastic support system in my life. First and foremost, my amazing wife, Amanda. You're my rock. I love you. Thank you. My beautiful daughter, Charlie. My parents are here. I have a lot of family and friends here as well. Thank you guys. I love you very much. I am where I am because of you guys. I want to thank the members of the Eastchester Police Department, past and present, especially members of the Detective Bureau, Detective Sergeant Lage, Lieutenant Rosenberg, Detective Yanni, Detective Casey, Detective Martins. They have mentored me during my time as a juvenile officer, and I appreciate that very much. Chief Rodriguez, I want to thank you and the current administration. Policing in 2023 is more difficult than it was in 2014 when I was hired, and your leadership sets the example for the rest of us, so sincerely, thank you. I also want to thank and acknowledge the members of the Tuckahoe School District who I worked so closely with for the better part of 3 years. My time in Tuckahoe was invaluable. I grew and learned so much during my time there, and I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are very confident you're going to do a great job, and we're very proud of your efforts, and we know that, you're joining a great detective division. And Eastchester Police Department is outstanding. And anything that we can do to make the department stronger and to make it better, we do without hesitation. So all the best to you. Good luck. Okay, we have two other quick appointments, then we'll take a 2-minute break. How's that? We have an appointment for Senior Office Assistant, and we're requesting the probationary appointment of Laura Farrell of Eastchester to the position of Senior Office Assistant Automated Systems at this meeting this evening. Laura has successfully passed the civil service exam, and her name appears on the County Civil Service List 02416. If approved, her starting date will be November 24th, 2023, at the annual salary of $60,315, CSEA Grade 5, Step 7, Schedule 3. She will be required to serve a probationary period, which will run not less than 12 weeks and not more than 52 weeks, and funds have been provided for in the 2023 budget. Someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
Please, please call the roll.
Who seconded? I'm sorry. Thank you. Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley? Aye. Councilman Marcoccia? Aye. Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Next, we have the recommendation for the reappointment of Mike DeSanto of Eastchester to the position of Board of Assessment and Review, effective 9/30/23 to September 30th, 2028. I'll move that. Ask for a second, please.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcoccia? Aye. Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. We have a similar motion, a similar application for the reappointment of Mike Romano of Eastchester and for the member and chairman of the Board of Assessment and Review, effective September 30th, 2023 to September 30th, 2028. Someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Okay, if the board will indulge us, we'll take a 2-minute recess so you guys can head out, and then we'll pick it up again. Thank you.
I know.
All right, we'll go back on live here, and that brings us to the opportunity to address the board on a specific agenda item posted for this evening. There being none, we'll move forward to the approval of minutes. We have the approval of the minutes of the November 8th Special Town Board meeting, wherein we interviewed police officers, and we also have police officer candidates, I should say, and we also have the minutes of the November 8th 2023 regularly scheduled town board meeting. Any modifications or amendments?
Just a minor one, that would be Wednesday, November 8th.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, yeah, good, thank you.
I'll move to approve the minutes as corrected, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley? Aye. Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Next, we have reports of departments, boards, and commissions. Police Department report, we can receive and file our October 2023 detective report plus our statement of accounts. Chief, anything further?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you again for, support of the department and Theo Minio's appointment. Like I said previously, but I know it needs to be reiterated. He's going to do a wonderful job. He's doing a great job already, and we're very happy with his work so far. Officers Chacon and John Castellano began instructing the DARE program at both Ann Hutch and Greenvale. As we know, we do this every year with the 5th graders. I want to thank the board and also the Community Fund for their support of this program. We participated in several fall events, which are wrapping up or had wrapped up, trunk or treats, as well as the annual Ragamuffin Parade. There's numerous events coming up, Christmas holiday events. We're going to be at most of them. We're going to try and have officers at the more well-attended ones, and we'll be there for security and traffic control. Over the past month, I'm happy to report we sent several members to de-escalation training. We also sent several members to wellness symposium by Guardian Revival that was hosted by the Westchester County Chiefs of Police Association. And lastly, this week we put out, I believe a lot of people probably saw it, we made an arrest in a scam that had occurred at Stop and Shop. It's not the first time we had this type of scam, specifically at Stop and Shop, where we had groups of people targeting elderly or older senior citizens. They would follow them in line and try and obtain their PIN number or credit cards, and then they would go out, engage them, and steal their debit card. I'm happy to report we were able to use the LPR system, track these people down, and we made an arrest in that case.
That's good. Good to hear that. Glad to hear that. Okay, thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Law Department report. Mr. Rader?
Yes, good evening. I have a resolution authorizing a settlement of a subrogation claim by State Farm Mutual Auto Insurance Company as subrogee of Matthew Perugini against the town of Eastchester in the amount of $1,000 for damages sustained to Mr. Perugini's vehicle on November 2nd, 2022.
I'll move this.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley? Aye. Councilman Marcoccia? Aye. Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Next, we have the Highway Department report. We can receive and file the written report. Mr. Latella is here, but before he starts, I do want to reiterate once again, and we're beating this drum every fall, but people just aren't getting the message. And we don't want to start going around fining everybody and issuing violations, but you got to put your leaves on your lawn. It's not going to hurt your lawn. Your lawn will be beautiful in the springtime. It has no impact whatsoever. Tell your landscapers to put the leaves on the lawn. If they're in the street, it does several things that are not positive. First, when it rains, all the leaves go down the drain, and as everyone is acutely aware, we have, stormwater issues here, so let's not exacerbate the problem with, hundreds of tons of leaves in the sewer system. Also, when you park a hot car on top of dry leaves, you get fires. It happens. We lost a police car, for that matter, when that happened. Also, it has the effect of narrowing the roadway. So when kids are walking home from school and it's dark out early, people are now in the street when it's dark out, even though it's, not very late, it shrinks the roadway. It's dangerous for vehicles and pedestrians as well. So just put the leaves on the grass. You don't have to put them in bags. We prefer, if you want to do that, that's great. But don't mix also, people, what they do too is they take the summer's plants, and they take the big giant, clay pot you had and put the whole, plant right in the leaf pile. Don't do that either. Also, if you have large branches and sticks, just bundle them up, tie them up, and we'll take them, separately. So we ask for your cooperation in this regard. I know that the town will go around at least 3 times to every neighborhood picking up all the leaves and stuff, but let's make it a little bit easier by putting the leaves onto the grass, not on the street. Thank you. Mr. Latella?
Thank you, Supervisor Calavita, members of the town board. To continue on what you're stating, we have been picking up our leaves. We have been picking up for about 4 or 5 weeks now. The guys are doing a great job. The leaves have been dry, so they've been easy to pick up. Just a reminder to our residents that the pickups are unscheduled. So if, we will be there weekly as best as possible. Our yard waste pickup which includes leaf bags, branches, grass clippings, will be picked up also on an unscheduled basis. We are planning and scheduling a pickup on Wednesday, November 29th, and Wednesday, December 6th. On Wednesday, December 6th, we will resume our pickups of e-waste and metal items, which are suspended in the month of November due to leaf pickup. We are planning on having all these items picked up before our first snowflakes. Reminder to all our residents to enroll in the Smart 911 Alert Notification System. The importance of this notification during snow and other weather events is vital for our crews to provide safe and passable roads. I would like to wish everyone a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. That is all I have to report tonight.
Thank you very much. I wanted to add one thing to leaf pickup too. People every once in a while call and say, why don't you just have a schedule for the leaf pickup so we know we could put our leaves out? But A, people don't generally do that. Landscapers come all different days of the week, so it's not really a convenient time. Also, when people do them on their own, they normally do them on the weekends, so it's not easy to just have a schedule set up. And also, we're dealing with other issues. If there's a storm, a flood, guys are on workers' comp, guys are sick. So it doesn't always work so neatly. We can just say, we'll be in Chester Heights, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We try to get out there, on a regular basis, but it doesn't always work out that neatly. So again, if you're going to pull your leaves out, just put them on the grass, and we'll scoop them up, as best we can. And then at some point, I know Mr. Littell always will send, a truck around for the late pickups, leaf picking up, when the seasons, starts to get really cold. Sometimes you miss an area, or, a person will just do their cleanup late, and there's a whole pile of leaves that, we've missed, that homeowner has missed the window for the last leaf pickup. And then you give us a call, we'll come out, we'll get a truck out there, we'll help you out. But just in the interim, know that we don't have a set schedule, but we try to do it on a regular basis, okay? Anything further from Mr. Littell?
I think you covered it. Rocco, huh?
I'm just generating all the complaints right at Mr. Littell.
Thank you very much.
He's one of the busiest men in town with all the stormwater issues. Anyway, we have a receiver of taxes report from October of '23 we can receive and file, together with the clerk's report. Anything further?
No.
Okay. That moves us over to the correspondence agenda, and we have a memo for the controller on the part-time seasonal employees. We have just one appointment in the recreation area for EIBL. I'll make the motion. Ask for a second, please.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Markocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the controller on the accreditation manager stipend. And, the Eastchester Police Department is accredited. We have been re-accredited as well, and we are now on to our third level, and or third time, I should say, because we are at the top level. But it is a recommendation of the Chief of Police that an annual stipend of $3,000 be paid to Sergeant Joe Pena for his work as the accreditation manager, effective November 24th, 2023. And this is a lot of work. You've got to pull together, it's almost like you're a forensic accountant at some levels. All of the information, all the statistics, all the manuals, it's very involved, but it's also very worth it, because having an accreditation from the state means that your department is on the ball, that you are in very limited company with the best of the best. So we are delighted to continue this whole process. I am very confident we will be reaccredited again, and that'll be, like I said, the third time. But we certainly want to have Joe get some compensation for his time, because he has been spending a lot of time doing this. So I'm in favor of this, and I would ask, I'll make the motion. Ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilman Markocha?
Aye.
Supervisor Calavita?
Aye. We have no miscellaneous business scheduled for this evening, so that moves us over to council member reports. Councilman Markocha.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just very briefly, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope they enjoy this day with family and friends. And for those of you who are traveling either by car or air, be careful, be patient, as air travel and just travel in general is up significantly this year from prior years. So just be aware of your surroundings and take it slow and have a great, happy Thanksgiving. And that concludes my report.
Councilman Dooley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yeah, I'd just like to sort of recognize the golf team up at Lake Isle. They shut down the golf course this past Sunday, was the last day. They had a great season, great participation from all the members there. The course is looking great, and it looks like the irrigation system is all teed up to start going in soon. So just thanks to everybody who helped out with the golf this year, all the advisory committees, et cetera. It was a great year. Look forward to next year. And I'd also like to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Just on the library front, because of the holiday week, they are going to be closed early, 5 o'clock tomorrow evening on Wednesday, closed Thursday, Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday, and they'll kick off Saturday morning with family open play from 10 a.m. to noon. Great place for the toddlers can practice social skills like negotiating and sharing while you meet other caretakers. Sounds like a fun program. And then Sunday, there's a film called For Your Consideration, and that's at 2 p.m. And it's an American comedy film co-written by Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy, who both star in the film. Also, a big shout out to the community, big thanks from the Eastchester Rotary Interact Club. They had a huge, they had a clothes and blanket drive for the midnight run, and it was a huge success. Thank you for all that participated. T-PAC. Are you going to save it for you? All right. I will have Ellen, she'll be up later to talk about the T-PAC news. All right, and that's all, and have a happy, healthy Thanksgiving, and that is all. Thank you.
Welcome. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just a few announcements. I just want to start with, once again, the Eastchester Fire Department Local 916 will be doing their Toys for Tot collection, which they've been doing for many, many years. They'll be collecting toys at all of the firehouses, including their temporary stay, if you will, at the Marble Schoolhouse spot. They are looking for toys primarily for children between the ages of 5 and 8 and young teenagers, and they ask that they be delivered any time of day or night, and they'll be collecting them right up until Christmas Day, and they do ask that you deliver them new and unwrapped. Also, the Recreation Department will be Saturday, December 2nd, will be their Winter Fest here at Town Hall. That includes their Santa Stop. It'll be from 11 to 2. There'll be inflatables, crafts. Santa will be here, the snow globe. There'll be food, and that is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and the Youth Community Fund. So that's going to be a great event. Sunday, December 3rd at Memorial Park, beginning at 4:30, is the Holiday Lights event. That is the Christmas tree, the creche, and the lighting of the menorah. So we hope the residents come out and join us there. Also, on November 29th, the Recreation Department wants everyone to be on the lookout for a brand-new program. It's a surprise, and they will be announcing it on their website, also on their Instagram account. And in Bronxville, Saturday, November 25th, is their Small Business Saturday, reminding everybody to please shop local. Also, the Junior League of Bronxville is doing their inaugural event this year. It's called a Stocking Stuffer Stroll, and you can go to their website for more information, but it's a 2-day event starting on November 30th and December 1st. So they hope everybody joins them in that regard over in Bronxville. And it's not too early to put a call out for the Snow Angels, because it will be snowing soon. And I will be calling on my colleague Teresa Nicholson and her Interact people to help coordinate that. So just a reminder, if you want a Snow Angel or you want to participate as a Snow Angel, please give us a call or send us an email at Tuckahoe Snow Angels. And just a reminder, it's hard to fill that request, if you will, on the day of a storm. So, you know, well in advance would be extremely helpful. So that is my report, and I wish everybody a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you, Supervisor.
You're welcome. My own report, just want to comment that the last week or so, I've been, like I do every year for the last 26 years, almost 27 years, giving out turkeys to our seniors. And we went to all of these senior centers, and it's not Town of Eastchester money, it's my own money. And we do that for all the seniors, and they're very appreciative of that. And it's nice to see the seniors up at the Lake Isle Community Center and at 40 Jackson Ave, 46 Jackson Ave, on Garth Road, at Father Fodder Hall, at Assumption Church in Tuckahoe. And it's great to have such thriving centers. And they all are spry and able and having a great time, and they enjoy going there. And, you know, we do a lot for them from a recreation perspective, but, you know, it's always nice to drop in on them and see how they're doing. And, you know, they always ask me, how's your family doing? You know, they catch up with me as I catch up with them. And it's just a nice time. And so we're really delighted to be able to do that over the last week or so. And they're very appreciative, and it's just a moment of kindness. And it's nice to dovetail into Thanksgiving with them as well, because they're very grateful for having these beautiful centers and all of the staff there that just, you know, does a magnificent job for them. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving as well, especially to our seniors that enjoy our premises and our programs. And so that brings us to the second opportunity to address the board.
Bob Foyce, 105 Garth Road. Close to home, I have a quick question. Will we have an opportunity perhaps to meet with the supervisor to talk about some of the options as far as parking on Garth Road? just to get a better idea what you may have in mind, what might be possible in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to sit down with myself and perhaps Lieutenant Graff, who is the traffic and parking lieutenant, we can set up a meeting, sure.
Yeah, because we're curious what's happening with the building where the school was, right, where the CVS used to be.
Well, that, for answers on that, you can call Lucas, our town planner, and he can bring you to speed on, any facet of the application, dimensions, variances, permit status, whatever they have there.
Is something going in there, or is that something going to happen with that?
I heard it was going to be a training center, but I don't know. That's private property, so we're not, unless they come for a permit, we're not really sure what the realtors are negotiating, but I understood it was going to be some kind of, like a workout training facility. But I don't know if that's aborted or whether it's continuing. I can't tell you that. I'm not sure.
And I'm not trying to be pie in the sky here, but one of the ideas that was in the back of everybody's heads, and I know it's not, at least on the street on Garth Road, and it's probably not realistic, but I'm going to throw it out there, was the idea of that property somehow being purchased by the town or utilized as some additional parking that would open up the street a little bit. Again, I understand it may be a little bit out there, but it was in the back of people's heads because they saw the fact that the building is fallow right now, and we have had some issues with parking, as you know. So we are concerned about that. I'm curious if there's a possibility. I'm just throwing the idea out there. I'm not saying it's realistic, but I'm just saying it's out there.
I think that's very much a long shot, just because, with parking, it's like, you take the footprint of the building, which may be a large building, but it's a small parking lot, because you have to have backup aisles, you have to have handicap parking, you have to have all kinds of security exits and access for emergency vehicles, which gobbles up a lot of space. So the only alternative you would have would be to build something that's significantly high, multiple stories, and that really takes the edge off. The freightway itself, though it's, useful, it's not pleasant looking, and, it's just down at the other end, is beginning of Scarsdale, so it's not Eastchester, but it's, rusted and paint's peeling off of it. It's not that appealing. Also, unless you put a substantial vehicle elevator, you'd have to have a whole turning circle to get cars up and down. And then, that takes up tons of parking area. Some people have said, oh, well, what if you put the stacked parking like they do in the city? But that apparatus is extremely expensive. And look, if someone wants to do it and come up with an application, we'll look at it, but I don't see the town performing that function.
Now, one of the questions a number of people had was about the Beatty lot, which adjoins the 70 Garth Road, which runs right behind the shopping center area. But there's not an easy access to it. And you may want to take a look at it. There's 2 or 3 spots where, with a little ingenuity, there could be some access to it. And it might encourage a little more use of that lot, which might free up other spaces.
Well, it's possible, but remember, when you go back into that lot, I was, matter of fact, Ms. Littell and I were both there, probably over, I guess it was last winter, trying to find some extra parking, particularly for the restaurant that was there.
Right.
Anyway, so I got the map, and I was like, this is great. Look at all this space we own there. Not realizing, of course, that the village of Scarsdale, village/town of Scarsdale, has leased all of those spaces on a long-term basis that are in Eastchester, in the lot, attached to the garage. So there's only a very small portion of that. So when that lease is up, we'll be seizing those spaces, but that was done quite a while back, and, they've been utilizing those spaces, but when that's up, those 14 spaces will be ours.
They really, and it's interesting, I didn't know this, but they really are not being utilized, which is why a lot of us have brought it up. It's not really, there's a lot of fallow spaces right behind that shopping section that could be utilized.
Oh, we'll see.
And of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Freightway.
Yeah,
So,
we don't know.
one other issue I would want to bring up, just as an aside, just as it's come up, and I've only lived on Garth Road for about 3 years now, but if a number of you could take a little bit of a walk through, just to get a sense of where a little extra lighting might be nice, some of the seniors have had some concerns, and some of it, from what I've gathered, would functionally, the Little League section where the lighting is over there, if that was turned on, would probably help out a lot of seniors in that section, right in that little corner there. Just a thought.
It's possible, but, we have to make sure, and like all things, when you do something, there's always a ripple effect, lighting in people's bedrooms and windows, and they get all twisted about it, because they never had light before, but now I have light, can't sleep, So what we do is we'd have to put in some kind of shield to make the light directional, or keep it from, entering upon the premises, or, into bedrooms and all on the side. But that's something to consider, that's for sure.
And at a later date, I'll probably give you a hard time about the sidewalk dining, but I'm not going to do that tonight because Thanksgiving is Thursday, and I'd rather try to be civil about things, but we are unhappy about that situation too. However, another idea I have, which I've brought up, and because I have done work as a journalist in the past, both on radio and in print, we ought to try to consider some better utilization, maybe first and foremost by the town, of the public access, and to get more information out that way. It might be a really enjoyable experience for each of you to do that, somewhere along the lines of what Phil White did. This is an olive branch, an idea I have. I've had my own experience seeing how this works in different places with public access, and it might be something that might be worth us considering that could have a very productive, positive impact along the way. Just an idea to be put out there. Because I'm one of the things that I'm seeing out there, which is not the fault of the town, but it is out there, is there's less media. There's less newspapers. We've just lost another radio station, VOX. Some of us have thought of setting up a podcast network. Some of us have thought of setting up even a little mini newspaper. The lack of coverage is diminishing the contact with everything going on overall. And it's not just affecting, I think, the relationship with the town hall, but other civic organizations too. So it's something, as a former journalist, I don't know what I can do, but I'm going to be putting my head together with a few other people and see what could come to pass. And if any of you have any ideas, I'm more than willing to work with you on it, because it would, I think, overall help everything if there was more communication. Again, I'm not going to go through list to list every issue, but I think the idea of having a better news coverage of the town is going to make things easier. Just a thought, as far as public information.
Just to conclude, just have to keep in mind, I think the podcast route is the best route, because we are licensed through Verizon and Cablevision for government access. Government access is very different than public access. Public access, as you know, is anybody saying anything about anything. And, we are one of the few municipalities that has a cable channel for each of its 3 school districts and the 2 villages and the town. A lot of other places were forced to consolidate. So, we have to be very careful and guard our government access, which is, like I said, very different than public access. So there's a big difference between the two. And the way things are going now, I think the podcast is frankly the better way, because you can get podcasts on any subject matter, and if it interests you, you can sign up for it. Also, we have our communication network that we use, that we blast out anything, and people pretty much sign up for general, information from the town. Snowstorms, recreation, senior services, courts closures, eruptions of water mains, Con Ed issues, so people get a lot of information that way. It's not dialogue, but it's communication. And of course, they email back to us. But just keep in mind, as you advance, that public access, different than the government access, which is what we utilize.
Okay.
Thank you.
To that point?
Yes, good.
Pardon me, just to that point, Mr. Foyce, years ago, and you would probably remember this because you sat on the committee for many years, Verizon had a forum for that, if you will, where you could actually, I think it was a DVD, you could make it, was a tape.
There was another option.
Exactly. So I can't remember the format. I think it was a DVD, but if you took the time to make it, you could send it to them. They would have, their powers that be, if you will, would review it for content, et cetera. But then they would air it on what they deemed their public access, as opposed to what the supervisor is pointing out, government access.
Right.
So to your point, I believe that's still available. And there was a person in town, and for the life of me, I can't remember who availed themselves of this, but he would make tapes and send them to Verizon all the time. And they aired them. I never watched them, but people did do it. So it does exist, and there is that opportunity if that was something that you wanted to explore. And I could certainly look into it for you if you wanted to go down that
Thank
route.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Anyone else? Ms. Del Cole?
Good evening, Supervisor Calavita and Town Board. I came to talk about TPAC because I wasn't certain if I was going to be here, so I was nudging Councilwoman Nicholson just in case. The first thing I think I want to do is to apologize for the fact that we didn't have a quorum, and we had a very serious issue before us having to do with Scarsdale Avenue, Harney Road. And I didn't want anyone to think that we were ignoring it because, honestly, the statements made before the TPAC were highly emotional because it involved people who, as pedestrians, had had accidents there. It was very moving. And again, Lieutenant Graff was incredible. By the following morning after the meeting, she was on the phone with Westchester County, and she communicated immediately, but with no one present for the meeting, I wanted to make sure that everyone who came understands what's taken place in that area. Now, prior to the meeting, I was accused of perhaps being a stalker because people saw me there at least 9 or 10 times. And I can attest to the fact it is a very dangerous crossing. I didn't even want to stand there as a pedestrian. It's the rate of traffic and the speed of traffic, and people jumping the light is frightening. The following are the modifications made to that intersection, and this is from Lieutenant Graff, with the help of Westchester County. 2 new pedestrian crossings are being placed on Scarsdale Avenue, southbound at the intersection with Harney Road, and 1 new pedestrian crossing sign is being placed on Scarsdale Avenue, northbound at the intersection with Harney Road. A no right on red will be posted southbound Scarsdale Avenue, restricting turns onto westbound Harney, and a no right on red will be posted northbound Scarsdale Avenue, restricting turns onto eastbound Harney Road. The intersection will be exclusive, meaning that when the pedestrian crossing button is pushed, traffic in all directions will stop once the light has completed its cycle. There are 2 things to note here. One is that the button is active once the traffic signal completes a full cycle before the button will stop traffic again. That one people are going to have to read through these notes because it's confusing. The second thing is that this aspect of the plan is being done on a trial basis like many other things. If the vehicular traffic is adversely affected, we may need to make an adjustment. The TPAC committee recognizes the passion that was demonstrated by the residents and feel that we've taken the proper steps to make the intersection safer for pedestrians. We invite anyone to contact us who was there at the meeting for that or for any other issues at TPAC, T-P-A-C, at eastchester.org. And Allison Lanahan was one of the residents there. And I know that Lieutenant Graff reached out to her personally. I've tried to reach out to some people, but if you can please get the word out that we take this very seriously. We hate having to cancel meetings, but when we didn't have even half the committee who was available to meet that night, it was very awkward. We don't want to waste people's time. And again, we're just very grateful for Lieutenant Graff. If possible, though, I'd like to address some of Bob Foyce's comments, because the issues you mentioned, Bob, they have to do with TPAC And I'm not sure if you've been to some of the TPAC meetings where the things about the parking and the gym and the parking in the back closer to the railroad tracks have been discussed, and even the lighting. But when people come and place the complaint before the TPAC, we don't just run with it. Quite honestly, we go to people like Barry Kramer, who is sort of the unofficial leader over there. Because, again, you mentioned communication. Communication is key. We can put all the plans we want into place, but if everyone isn't in agreement, or people aren't told about things in advance, they don't have a say in it, what we have is a lot of angry residents, and nobody wants that. We just want to keep everything on the straight and narrow, so everybody gets a fair shake. And as far as the lighting, we made adjustments in the lighting more toward the restaurant side, up where the daycare center used to be. We got complaints. We had to have the highway department adjust the lights because they were shining in people's windows. We'd love to make a lot of these things happen, but we appreciate it when people come in and tell us, but it has to be a matter of everyone being on the same page and agreeing before we can implement anything. And I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but I like some of the ideas, but we need to approach the people who've been there the longest, who've seen what the patterns are. And the other thing that I'd like to say, and it's not a criticism of anyone, but I had someone call me about 3 weeks ago to tell me they were considering buying on Garth Road. Did I know anything about parking? I said, I thought the parking was tight. And they told me that they didn't think there was a big waiting list. And I asked them to ask the realtor again. I don't know what the parking is like on Garth Road, but I know that you need an answer. And they called me back and they told me that there was quite a waiting list for that building, longer than they'd assumed. So again, it's a matter of communication. Garth Road is a great place to live, but people have to understand that there are limitations for some of the resources over there. We just want to make sure that everybody, as I said, gets a fair shake. So thank you. I think we're very grateful to have Lieutenant Graff on our team, and I'm very grateful to have the nice people on TPAC who serve with me, and Councilwoman Nicholson. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, also for your efforts. This is a great example of good government in action. There's a problem, committee was formed, you guys are tackling this issue, you make recommendations to the town board for official action, and not only do people, are people heard, but you may not like the result or the recommendation, but at least you had an opportunity.
We had the opportunity
to have your word out, and you let the professionals make informed decisions, which is good.
And the police department can't be everywhere. Somebody said, well, I was going to contact, and I want the police out there, and I think they ought to sit by in a car. We have to be the boots on the ground. They're handling the criminals. They're going after the people at Stop and Shop. So if we can sit in an intersection, I would sit in an intersection for any number of hours if I thought it was going to improve safety for people crossing. It's worth it to me because this is my community, this is my home. And I think that's why most of us in the committee do it.
Sure.
We believe in what we do, and we can't dump it on you either, because you're not going to have the answers. So we go to the people that we think have the answers, and then we toss it around for discussion. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
If I may, I would also like to make one shout out to the community. I think effort by all, it's all of us that need to slow down and start obeying the laws, like not passing through a stop sign or through a red light. Because I walk miles and miles a week, and I see so much. And I think, we could do all the fixing, but we also need to all contribute and slow down and obey the law. Thank you.
Well said.
Anyone else? Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, all.
So,